the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate. Get the best guarantee in the window replacement business. Save money on your new windows and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Zero Res. Florida and South Carolina meet for the second time in 3 weeks. The Gators alone at the top of the Southeastern Conference standings have won 5 straight and are playing as well as any team in the country. You can catch the matchup against Florida and South Carolina on 10:10 a.m. at 7 p.m. 69 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
We love football season around here for obvious reasons, especially when our team is good, or our teams, depending on if you love college football too. But I have to say, I also love springtime when it comes to sports. Like the fact that the players is just a few weeks away makes me really excited. And then, as y'all know, I love gymnastics. I love college baseball. I love college basketball. Like, I'm not necessarily like devastated that it's not football season anymore. Does that make sense?
It does. I'm still a little devastated. I just like football is like top tier for me, and baseball for me is probably close. So once Major League Baseball starts, that my feeling kind of turns to that, where I'm like, okay, I can full on just shift to the Cubs and baseball right now, and my heart doesn't hurt as much. And then you also get into March is great because March you have Players Championship. Baseball is about to start. You're in like the kind of the thick of spring training, and then now at the end of March you're getting real baseball, or the actual baseball. You're getting into hockey. You're getting close to hockey playoffs and NBA play-ins, and like there's so much stuff happening. And then it's the draft. So I think for me, once that mid-March hits, the sadness from it not being football season leaves a little bit. But then the moment like the draft is over, and now I'm like, okay, well, now it's time to watch football again. And you have a while for then. But so I'm not there yet, but I'm not far behind you in the sense of being like, I start to move on once I can watch baseball every day.
Yeah, I'm year round. I mean, it's football year round. Now, obviously, you can fill in the time that they're not on and whatnot with the madness that's coming up with TPC, which is the best event every single year in our Duval County, although it's in St. John's, but we're all included. No, it's great. It's a great time of year, whether it's baseball, whether it's hockey that's in full swing, whether it's your gymnastics. But look, you get into the combine, you get into free agency. Next thing you know, I mean, after the madness, it's April. Next thing you know, we're looking at the draft. I mean, there's just a lot going on. I think our team is going to keep us busy with news and notes and how they're going to build year number 2. And, we are thankful for all that transparency because it is fun to talk about. But there's going to be a lot of news and notes, I think, as we move forward. But, yeah, to fill it all in, like you just had a great Daytona 500 finish. That was cool. The golf is always great. The madness in college basketball is phenomenal. Once you get to the playoffs in hockey, that seems to be a little bit further down the road. And the NBA, those seasons take forever, right? October to like July, June or whatever, just seems forever. But you could fill in the void, there's no doubt. But if you wanted to dig into just football, college, pro, and even high school, you could fill your days, with all that content that's out there.
And I hate to leave out other sports too. Obviously, softball's going on.
Throw them all in.
Tennis and track and field,
tennis.
all the things. But obviously, everyone gets to choose what they spend their time outside of their work hours watching. And I say that some people, I guess, don't watch sports again until football season begins.
Some people are like, let me catch up on all my shows. And then when football's back, I'll get back into football.
So, and that's what, whenever I say, like, we work at a sports talk radio station, I'm like, I mean, it's really like 75% of football station, and the other 25% is probably the other sports.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, we talk about this every year, but the NFL does such a good job in their scheduling. They make it to where there's barely any time where you don't have something. And to what Tommy was just saying, I mean, the Super Bowl just happened. We're just ending, kind of getting over that Super Bowl talk. You have franchise and transition tags today. You've got the combine coming up at the end of February. You've got, and then you're
That's
straight.
next week, by
I know.
the way. How's that
Insane.
possible?
I know.
That's what next week's March, or we're getting close to March. So we have like a week and a half, and then then you're getting into, and there's free agents, and then there's the legal tampering, and then it's free agency, and then it's draft talk, and then it's rookie mini camp, and then it's OTAs. So, and then next thing you know, you're like, whoa, it's training camp, and we're here. And so the NFL does such a good job, and that's one thing that I think college football could get a lot better at, is when it comes to just making you want to talk about them and having things to talk about all year. And I know a part of it with college football is when they had that second portal, they didn't want these kids leaving. And so maybe we will see some of that change. Maybe we'll get more, news coming out of some of these spring, even if the games aren't open, maybe we'll get more news coming out of those things because they don't have to worry about that second portal now. But I just feel like college football could adjust in the sense of like, look what the NFL gets all year. Like you feel like it's May and you're schedule release, by the way, there's nothing to do right here. We'll give you the schedule for the NFL
They used
season.
to release it before the draft, and I like it the earlier the better, but it's probably also because we plan our lives around the NFL schedule, and for me, college football schedule too. But yeah, the NFL has created every single month has a massive event for it, and college football definitely does not have that.
Yeah.
No, but you could say the portal is free agency now, and the recruiting's the draft. You know what I mean? In a certain kind of way, kind of vein.
I think the issue, Tom, is, and I'll take Florida for example. What was it, like 57 new players in totality between recruiting and the portal? Whereas in the NFL, you're going to get, in the biggest class, you're only going to get like 15 new players, right? Like 15 to 20 at the absolute most.
And
so
the
it's
draft,
so much, between draft and
I think
free
there was
agency.
more turnover there was much more than that. That's not every year, though.
Not
right?
every year. Yeah,
About
normally
20
you're only
probably.
going to have to learn, about that many. And then, of course, they're going to trim down to 53 too. So you don't even, some fans don't even pay that close of attention until
that happens.
Yeah, the 53 man roster is finalized. So I think it's just so much more difficult, especially with, there's only 32 NFL teams. And there's 133 FBS teams. So trying to follow.
We're trimming fat on that. Cut that in half, please.
So we're trying to. I just feel like you can't follow that much of the transfer portal the way that we follow free agents.
Not maybe regionally you could, or if you just Florida, Georgia, and whatnot.
Yeah.
But think about it, those portal players; they should all be starters, right? That's who you're bringing in. You're not bringing in guys just to be on your team and fill the roster. That'd be terrible if you had to go. I would think the portal would be, I'm upgrading my roster. I'm going after my next star, whoever. If they play it right. But you're right, covering all that would be very challenging. There's no doubt. But again, we would trim the fat quite a bit. We trim the fat on the roster too, because we know what that is, and concentrate on the starters and what the outlook may or may not be. But look, the NFL, they've been the giant for forever, and they continue to grow. They continue to expand, and that's what they want. And it's good or bad or indifferent. That's the platform of the National Football League, and they will always be king. Now, not for non-sports people, but if you roll sports in, now there's percentages say, no, I take NBA first all day, or I take Major League Baseball first all day. But the majority is going to say the National Football League. And here in this town, I mean, it's our Jags. That's what makes it so special. Like, it's one epicenter of the National Football League. And no disrespect to all the other professional teams here in town, but the lone elite top tier professional team within within the National Football League. So that makes it special around here. And then you got all the other great sports that have, whether it's the Sharks or the Icemen or the Jumbo Shrimp or the new soccer teams coming, all that stuff. That's all great. That's fantastic. But at the end of the day, that's what makes Jacksonville. Because if you're into sports, you're into football. And if you're into football and you live in this town, you're into Duval. There's no question about that. So that makes it great.
I do wonder, like the people that have moved into town, because I know some that are not from here. They weren't Jaguars fans to start their lives, but after being here for a few years, they pretty much decide, like, I'm going to be a Jags fan first, and I'm going to keep my other NFL team kind of in my back pocket, but I'm going I'm going to become a Jags fan first. I wonder how many years it takes to decide, like, you know what? It's
to
more
fully switch.
Yeah, it's more fun to be cheering for the same team that all my neighbors cheer for, that all my friends in town, all my coworkers.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like it matters how much you loved that first team, because I mean, everybody knows this. Like the whole first portion of my life was the Bears. Everybody, great grandpa, aunts, uncles, cousins, like everybody in the entire world. So it's hard to just like throw that all away when your whole world is still engulfed in that. And so like if you don't have a lot of family who's super diehard, or maybe you weren't going to games when you were a kid of that, like it might be a little easier, but it's hard to just like throw your other team away. I do think over time, especially when you're around that, and if you do start going to a lot of games and you get season tickets and you're like doing all of these things, then it probably is a little easier to like shift into that world, because that's what is you're watching and seeing and talking about and cheering with your friends. So I could see, I think it just kind of depends how deeply it's engraved in the family side of things for a lot of people.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, you take like a long-standing Philly fan. They're not going to move to Jacksonville, become a Jaguar fan. Maybe over time. Now, winning will help you become intriguing.
Yeah.
Well, they'll be like, oh, wait, maybe I will keep an eye on them. Maybe I will go to a couple games. Maybe I will cheer for them when they're not playing my favorite team. You know, for me, I mean, I grew up a Bears fan. You know, we love Chicago Bears all the way. But when I became a Jaguar, they became our team. The Bears had plenty of opportunity to draft me, which they didn't. For the record, I would have killed for Mike Ditka. There's no question about it. I'd have loved to play for Coach Ditka coming out in 1992 or the 93 draft. Which I didn't get drafted. But once I became a Jaguar, and then 5 years, and then never leaving. I mean, this team's number one. Bears are number two. I keep an eye on them. I cheer for them. I hope they do great. Me and Cole Kmet's dad were always, texting back and forth. My brothers watch the games. They're still into it and that. But when it comes right down to it, I mean, I bleed teal because they're my lifeline. I mean, without the Jags, I don't make it to Jacksonville. I don't have the life I have. I don't have the family I have. I don't have anything that I have in this town. So for me, they'll always be, number one.
Yeah, and I certainly didn't mean everyone who moves to Jacksonville drops their team, but my friends that had other teams first, I think especially having kids and watching their kids grow up Jags fans and being able to take them to games, they were like, you know what? I'm going to put the Jags number one. I'm going to move my other team down. But yeah, it's a case by case.
I will say this: if you're new to the market, go check out, get on X or Twitter, and then just go check out different Jaguar fans' account, and you'll see how they defend this team.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll fall in love with them pretty quickly. You'll be like, oh, man, I like this fan base. They do stand up for their team.
They will have the back of the Jacksonville Jaguars,
Absolutely.
especially when national media says some things that are not true.
Yeah. My favorite is the people, you always get the ones that are like, oh, I didn't know Jags fans existed. And the next thing you know, they're like, they have to turn their comments off. Like you didn't want to do that, I promise.
You just interrupted the hive, and they're coming.
Simmer down now. Exactly. All right, let's get into our favorite Jaguar storylines from 2025, and then we'll expand to the National Football League as a whole. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Brought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL. Mike Dempsey.
I know the leagues. I know the teams. I know these players. I know this wonderful game called football.
Get your fill of NFL football on Jaguars Today. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you spend a lot of time talking about diamonds, but what about some of the colored stones we see?
Frank, when you talk about colored stones, there are literally hundreds of varieties and species in the gem kingdom. As certified gemologists, we're trained gemologically on the identification of each of these and can separate the man-made synthetics and imitations from the real thing. But at Underwoods, we can go to the next step. At Underwoods, we're active buyers of loose-colored stones in the world markets, so we have an understanding of the values of colored stones as they relate back to the various qualities. In fact, just like diamonds, we buy most of our colored stones loose, then create the pieces of jewelry to hold the gems. You can be assured not only of the authenticity and quality of our colored stone jewelry, but also of the value. So if you're in the market for a fine quality emerald, sapphire, ruby, aquamarine, amethyst, citrine, tourmaline, peridot, or any other gemstone, come by and see us at Underwoods.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Covered by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
If you've been in an auto accident, you can count on the experts at San Jose Collision to return your vehicle to pre-accident conditions. San Jose Collision can also provide a fresh paint job to freshen up your vehicle or completely change its appearance. They can paint and repair all foreign and domestic cars and trucks. When quality and professionalism are important to you, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
The road to March runs through Jacksonville. The 2026 Atlantic Sun Conference men's and women's basketball tournament is coming to VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Catch all 24 Division I basketball programs in action March 3rd through 9th. Reserve your seat today at asunsports.org/tickets. Jacksonville is the destination for ASUN basketball. Get your tickets to the 2026 Atlantic Sun Conference men's and women's basketball tournament today. asunsports.org/tickets.
Patrick Young here, a.k.a. the Big PY, and you know I love my Florida Gators. Now you can hear my Gator basketball instant reaction following each Gator Hoops game. Look for my takes on the social channels of 1010XL, brought to you by VanguardSportsLeagues.com.
Good luck surviving the offseason, football fans.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Football's over, it's like a part of me just died inside. 200 days till football's back, but tonight I won't just cry, cause I've got a ways to play. And that's the place with Hard Rock Bet, I will survive.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Money pages in your mailbox right now.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Money pages in your mailbox right now.
Hey, this is Tom McManus. If you get injured out there, there's only one number to call. Pound Law, that's all. Slip and fall, car wreck, wrongful death. It doesn't matter. Morgan & Morgan handles it all. They're the largest in the country. 100 offices, over 1,000 attorneys. $20 billion recovered for 500,000 clients. That's the kind of team I want. If you get hurt from someone else's wrongdoing, check out Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.
Hicken here. Experience crystal clear vision with the Eye Associates, formerly Bow 9 Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, Jacksonville's leader in advanced eye care. From routine eye exams to specialized vision care, their experienced team dedicated to improving and preserving your vision. The same care you've come to trust, now with a new name. To schedule your appointment today, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bow 9 Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. All right, as we roll on this Tuesday afternoon, we're going to discuss our favorite storylines from your Jacksonville Jaguars in 2025. Since we were just saying how important this team is to the city, I think it makes sense to discuss. And by the way, if you want to chime in, 641-1010, you can certainly add your opinions on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. And we'll add those to the mix. But Tom, I'll start with you.
Okay.
One of your favorite Jaguar storylines from 2025. And we're not numbering them in order or anything like that.
Well, I can't kick it off with the evolution of the one and only Liam Cohen. From the initial press conference and the way he pronounced Duval to keep my name out of your beeping mouth, to the F-bombs that he throws regularly out there to his staff and team.
The team meeting when he told them this is a bad play call that I decided to go with, right? Taking accountability in front of the whole team, and not just doing that, but the Jaguars.com staff being able to release that video to the public is awesome.
But I think his accountability's already been there, but the way he was finding himself, you know what I mean? Like he was, okay, I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to go there, and then I'm just going to give it to him all.
And then I'm going to lift weights.
Yeah, and then we love it. You know, we absolutely love it. So I think just the way he's gone from that initial to now, and what he stands for, and the way he coaches, and the way they respond even more so, I think that would be my number one storyline.
I can understand that. I feel like that last press conference, and not the one necessarily with James Gladstone. That one he didn't look thrilled either. But that last press conference when the Jags lost to the Bills, like the dejection on his face wraps up what you're saying as far as just how much it means to him.
Yeah.
Like we've seen other coaches lose in the postseason, and they didn't look nearly as devastated as Liam Cohen did.
Yeah. And I think to your point, Tommy, when it's the kids call that a glow up, and it was in the beginning, it was because of the Duval and because of some of that beginning things, it was already Jags being mocked in the beginning of, oh no, here we go. Like, this is so awkward and da-da-da. And then it just so drastically changed once we saw it before that, obviously at camp and OTAs and the way he communicated on the field even through that time. But once the season started and you really saw his fieriness and the F-bombs dropping and the way he kind of was just very upfront and blunt when it came to answering questions at the podium and anytime he was talking to media in general, you saw all of that just kind of progress. And I remember going back, it was like soon after that Duval, and someone asked Baker about it, and Baker was like, I just told him to be himself. And I think in that moment it was like, okay, that wasn't Liam. That was like a little nervous. Like, I'm a new head coach. This is a lot. There was a lot of back and forth of what was going on anyways. This team fired their general manager for me. And so now this is a big spot to be.
And the Bucs hated him.
Yes, there was a lot coming out of that.
Probably hate him.
Probably still do,
Bucs
if not
fans.
even more. And so I remember hearing that where Baker was like, just be yourself. And at that point I was like, okay, that's not the Liam Cohen that they all saw. It was a nervous Liam Cohen, and you saw him just kind of become more comfortable with the team and who he was, and that this was his team. And so I think that was a fun storyline to fall from like a little over a year ago or right around a year ago to the end of this season.
And he'd been an offensive coordinator, Tom, for a long time. Offensive coordinators don't take the podium and have an introductory statement, right? Like you're constantly being asked questions and answering them. Which is way easier, in my opinion, than getting up and having this really important introductory statement.
You know, I have a feeling maybe his wife, Ashley, gave him the let it rip speech before he gave it to Trevor. She's like, come on,
like,
Liam, show him.
Don't do that again.
Just go do it and show him. No, he's deaf. Look, it's not an act. He's comfortable in his skin. And I just think in the beginning, he was just trying to, be, presidential, if you will, or just
stately.
Hey, stately. I'm the new coach. I got to play it cool. I mean, at first you're like, well, what do you think? You're like, well, he's a little quirky, I guess, and then you're like, wait a minute. He's like, I know what he's like. He's like that typical New England kid that likes a little bit of aggression and confrontation and things like that. And he stands on his passion and accountability. So no, I think that storyline was fun. And then look at him now, like he's a savage. Like he's our leader. We got him all the way. Like we back him up 1,000,000% times infinity. We just can't wait to see what he's going to do next.
Yeah, what's going to happen as far as Robert Saleh and Liam Cohen? Like the next time, I know they made up and whatnot, but there's still if the Titans have anything dirty on the field, I feel like you can expect to see a little bit of fireworks.
It'll be like the goalies leaving the nets and meeting in the middle.
Oh yeah, drop the gloves.
Yeah, so
I'll be like, yes.
Yeah, no, I just love it. I love the persona.
Right.
I love the way his attitude is, and his players really love it. And
you can definitely tell that.
A ton.
I would like to remind people though, his very first Duval was perfect. They had him get in front of the entire staff
because other people did it with him.
Sure, but like he led it, and he did it exactly the way you would want him to do it. And then we played that sound on our show. And then when he did the press conference, that's when it was the quirky side of the Duval.
Yeah.
And that's when, everyone around the country was going to just completely make fun of him. And look, I think now looking back, he can laugh at it. I don't think he really wanted to discuss it there for a little bit of time.
That was probably more of a prepared speech than ripping it from his gut. You know what I mean? Like
now he would never again.
He's like, I'm not fitting that into a sentence.
Yeah.
Let me not do that.
Unless maybe the Jags win the Super Bowl, then he could give out another.
He could do whatever he wants.
Pinky up.
Yeah, that's what, honestly, I even in the beginning remember being like, just rock with it at this point, because especially if you have a good season, which they did, that could have been leaned into so much. Like it and it kind of was anyways. Like I didn't really like it, but other people at some point was like, whatever, that's my coach Duval. Like however he wants to say it is how I'm going to say it if we're going to win as many football games as we did last year. And so but I get it also. It's kind of like you're trying to mark your place and kind of earn respect and get all of that at one time. And so having that moment was probably not the way you wanted to start all of that.
And it was so emotional, right?
Yeah.
Like he's there. His dad is there. He learned to coach
Big
from
time,
his dad.
big time.
He's going to talk about his mom being an angel since he lost her when she passed away when he was in college. His wife, his rock, his 2 young boys. This is the first time he's getting his dream job that he and his dad had talked about years before he gets the office. Like I'm not saying that every other NFL coach for the very first time hasn't gone through stuff.
Right.
But I think you put all of that in there together. And to your point, what I love in the locker room, obviously post wins, how does that feel, right?
Yeah.
Like that he got from his dad in the post game locker room celebrations in high school and college. And I just think that part of things or that side of things is just so cool too.
Yeah, me too.
It's so cool when you win too. So.
Yeah, also true.
That
makes everything a lot cooler.
You only lost 4 games in the regular season when the year before, and I know Liam
You
wasn't
only
here,
won
but
that many.
you won 4. And look, Liam was on the sidelines. Y'all know this, but some people forget. Liam was on the sidelines in the preseason the year before because the Jags and the Buccaneers had the joint training practice camp or joint practices. And so when you have the ability to look over at a team and see kind of what they're made of. And then, like I said, they only win 4 games. And then you decide to become the head coach of that team and you only lose 4 games in the regular season. Right. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And I think one of mine, too, kind of feeds off of that also when it comes to the beginning, because I think some of ours may be more of what happened once you started playing football. But going back to, and I said this on the show probably midway through this season, but just giving credit to Shad Khan, because I think that making that decision and having to tell a whole world of people that you were wrong in something and having to do an interview, a live press conference interview, media, whatever, with that general manager, and people ask you this question of, is Trent Baalke staying? What's going on? And then having to come back out and be like, never mind, this isn't the right decision. If I want the right coach, I have to fire this guy. And we don't know. We never heard it was an official, like Liam Cohen said this or who said what, but right soon after that, Liam Cohen's the head coach. And then you go through and it just felt like Shad Khan had searched for that right coach, and he had tried many different ways to do it. He got the Urban Meyer, who was the college football coach that won a lot of football games at Florida. And yeah, there was some weird things attached to Urban Meyer, but it was like, it's okay because he's a good football coach. That didn't work. And then you tried the Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl and was the offensive-minded guy and worked with quarterbacks like Nick Foles and Carson Wentz and made them Super Bowl at least attendees, and then winning and Nick Foles when it comes to that. And you tried that route and then it didn't work. And then so now you shifted and you completely pivoted into this world of, I'm going to take the chance on the young guy, because that's what it feels like has worked for some of these teams with the McVay and a Shanahan and a little bit of time with Mike McDaniel. But that's what you're seeing. And so I give so much credit. And that storyline, I feel like we kind of laughed before of that presser and Trent Baalke being gone, and we all kind of celebrated after that happened because of just a lot of the bad things that had happened within the draft and free agency and overpaying guys. But just looking at that now and saying you finally hit on the right coach, and this is all Shad Khan wanted. He wanted to find that coach. You want a new stadium. Both of these things are happening, and you got a winning product and a team that feels like they're just on the up now. And that storyline is really cool because we've always talked about how good of a person Shad Khan is and how much he cares about the Jacksonville Jaguars and how much money he wants to put into this franchise and the city and everything around what the downtown is. And so I think it's so cool that he finally got his guy, because that's just something, and we got our guy, and that's the cool thing too. But that storyline for me is really fun because it's not easy to do, and this is kind of an example of that. Sometimes it's trial and error, and he figured it out.
He had aired obviously several times before Urban too, right?
Yeah. His evolution. I mean, come on, he wasn't a football guy when he bought the team. He was a soccer guy. He knew how to build business. He knew how to run people. He knew how to be all successful and all that. He did know sports to a certain degree. Keeping Mark Lamping was one of his best moves because Mark, in his background and what he did with the Cardinals, what he did with the Jags, of course. I think his evolution, and we got to throw Baselli in there because I think he leaned on Tony a lot, and I do think that I'm not. This is all me thinking. Wasn't told
conjecture.
This, but this is my conjecture, Sal. I do think Tony said, "Hey, Shad, if we want this Liam Cohen, and I think he's our coach, you got to fire Balky. I think that's what it came down to, and he made the right call. And listen,
because Tony's connected, so he knew people that knew
he trusted him.
Yeah.
He trusted him. He had hired him by then, or was going to hire him, and trusted him, and whatnot. And look, Tony was very, convicted in the fact that Liam was the guy. Remember, he said, he's like, man, the first interview, I was like, this is our guy. I could feel it. I know it. And then, and in Chad's defense, Balky told him it was the greatest roster ever assembled. And he's like, oh my gosh, this is great.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't true. We knew it wasn't true. It wasn't anywhere close to being true. But he was fooled into that by Trent Balky. And then it's like, man, that son of a gun made me look bad. He's telling me I got the best roster. Basically, what's he doing? Building a case for himself.
Right.
It's not me. It's them. Yeah. It's not me. It's Doug. It's not me. And then it came down to the boiling point where you just said, hey, look, we got to get rid of him if we want Liam Cohen. We want Liam Cohen. He's the next great up and coming. And I got to credit Baselli for that, because he's the one that gut reaction of his said, you know what, this is our guy. And it's so far turned out to be a, perfect hit.
And they took their time when it came to the general manager side of things, right? Like James Gladstone wasn't hired until February 27th. And February 21st. The combine was February 27th.
Yeah.
6 days before the NFL combine. But they took their time and they were transparent with all of those different interviews that they had, right? Like we would see Baselli walking down
with each of them.
The halls of the Miller Electric Center, which each of those guys that was interviewing for the GM position. And they didn't rush it. They didn't feel the pressure. They knew that they wanted to build their staff that was going to them all work properly together and have the same vision, the same philosophy. And I think to your point about the interview when it came to Tony and Liam, I think had Liam been the fun and gun air raid type of, and those are more college terms, but you know what I mean, as far as I want to focus so much on the passing attack and that be, what he spent time discussing, then I don't know if Baselli would have loved him as much as a coach. I think Liam went in there and was like, the trenches are where I'm going to build this football team. And I want to be the most physical football team in the NFL. And I think that was like Baselli's moment of like, ding, 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 our visions align.
Thank you.
Panting, like a dog who hasn't had water for quite some time.
Got him.
Yeah, all right, so we've gotten through 2 of our favorite Jaguar storylines, so I feel like there are some more.
There's more to go, for sure.
Considering the team won 13 games in the regular season, so we will keep that conversation going. Don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Backed by Green Law Group on 1010XL. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
It's Cancer Prevention Month, and Ackerman Urology reminds you to stay ahead of prostate, bladder, and kidney health. Get a yearly checkup, ask about a screening, and make self-checks a habit. To make an appointment at one of 4 locations, visit AckermanUrology.com.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan.
Golf for a great cause. It's the UNF4 Scholarship Golf Classic, Friday, March 27th at Queens Harbor. Support the Swoop Impact Fund with a sponsorship or foursome. Contact jc.wegner@unf.edu.
Are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? It's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity on your home and get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. Hey, it's Prosser here. Corey and Jack called Loan Pronto in a matter of days. They had $160,000. They kept their 3% mortgage intact, didn't even need an appraisal, and with all that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans, saving $2,000 a month. You can do it too. LoanPronto.com, the rapid equity loan program, can get you $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan just did it. Consolidated all their high-interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Imagine, pay off all the credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier. Get your life back. Interest rates are at 3-year lows. Call Loan Pronto today, 904-999-1500. That's 904-999-1500, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
For nearly 60 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods at the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard has been Jacksonville's trusted name for the outdoors. From archery to hunting and fishing and more, their expert staff helps you get it right the first time. Right now, stop in and try the newest bows by Hoyt and Matthews and get dialed in before spring. Gear up today at greenacresporting.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When mice and rats show up in your home or business, They can be a real pain. You need them out fast, before they have time to multiply. Terminex knows how to shut down rodents and will keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so does Terminex. Don't live with a rodent problem, Terminex it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online just like I did. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com.
Hi, Jacksonville. This is Dr. George Bari, an orthopedic surgeon who is fellowship trained in sports medicine by the Dr. James Andrews. Wintertime is upon us, and you may notice you wake up in the morning with some aches and pains in the shoulders and knees. If this happens to you, don't forget, stay mobile to try to reduce stiffness in your joints. And if that doesn't work, come see me at Bari Orthopedics, where we can treat you with cortisone injections and platelet-rich plasma injections and other non-invasive needs. Visit me at BariOrthopedics.com.
Instant Keys is turning 25. A quarter century of saving the day when your keys mysteriously vanish.
Seriously, it was just in my pocket.
Or when that remote fob decides to quit working.
The dealership is such a hassle.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, house keys, transponders, re-keys, and even high-tech smart locks. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For honest, professional locksmith service, use Instant Keys.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
I'm sure for some people, taking a shot after a Jaguars win of Tennessee whiskey would be one of their favorite storylines. I know we have neighbors that set off fireworks after every Jaguars win. Yeah, nice, as long as you don't have a dog that's terrified of fireworks.
I know.
But no, it's only a couple fireworks, so it's fine. But yeah, continuing on with our Jaguars storylines, our favorites from 2025. And again, you can weigh in on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosure, 641-1010. My favorite is going to be that the vocal maybe minority in the town, maybe even starting to lean more towards, I guess, half of the fans that were so anti-Trevor Lawrence had to eventually take a seat and say, okay, actually, maybe he is pretty good.
Yeah,
and so, yeah, and I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the league. I'm not even saying he's a top 5 quarterback. But you know the group of people that said he was a bust, that the Jaguars should maybe look to trade him, that Liam Cohen was not going to want to work with him after the very first year, that, he's the entire reason that the team had drops, all the different things that we had that were thrown at Trevor, and all he did was just keep his head down, keep working, work even harder probably, and be able to silence some of those critics.
Yeah, no, he definitely did that. I mean, look, we always said the people that said he's terrible is wrong. The people that say he does no wrong is wrong. He was somewhere in the middle, and he got up to the above average. I mean, he did, even towards that really elite level for a period of time. We're hoping it transpires into more of that, starting right away and being consistent with it. And look, look, not the bust defense, but people that were questioning him, wondering, is he going to be the, long-term answer? I thought that was valid for a while. I did. I mean, and he even in that first, 9 games or 8 games, he had some really good games. And then some games you're like, it's just scratching your head. Like, that's not supposed to be from a guy in his 5th year. He's going over the line a couple of times. He's making some mistakes. Wasn't, very accurate. Coaches tell him, put it on him, whatever, just things. And then he'd have phenomenal plays and phenomenal games in Kansas City, Seattle, those games, San Fran. He played great, and then it would be, oh, here we go again. Not always his fault. Like, the drops weren't always the receiver's fault. They weren't always his fault.
Sure.
Just in general. But then it started clicking. And then it started working. And the stats speak for themselves. The wins speak for themselves. I mean, I was looking at the schedule yesterday before doing my podcast. I'm just like, man, those 8 W's in a row at the end of the year have looked really cool, like really impressive. And I didn't even look at who they played. It's just W after W after W. That is so hard to do in the National Football League. And they did it because, A, their defense got better and their quarterback turned it around and started playing more consistent football. Yeah. And again, I think, that let it rip was at the right moment. And Liam saying, look, just let it go, man. Like, I know the guy may not look open right now, but throw it to the spot I'm telling you to throw it to, and he'll be there. Just trust in that process. It's hard to do. I mean, look, he comes from, where before the guys, hey, just throw who's open. he's open. Throw it to him. Okay, zing. He's got the tools to do it.
Yeah.
But there's a ton more to that in playing quarterback in the National Football League. And I think that's what Liam figured out. He always knew he had the physical tools.
Right.
He always knew he was tough as nails. He always knew he was athletic. He just needed to figure out a way to put it all together. Started with his footwork, worked all the way up, worked into his head, got to run the offense, figure out the offense. You saw a different Trevor Lawrence. And I'm really happy for him because you're right. He never, cried about it, never whined about it. He never got in front of the media and bitched at him about it. He never said, "Oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about." He just took it, and he really did a great job. That just shows his character, his upbringing, the way he was brought up by his parents, and the way his family and whatnot. That said a lot about him. And then the whole on the field play changed. So that's what's great.
Yeah.
Great for him, and obviously great for our team.
Yeah, and I think, he got paid a lot of money before it even happened, but I think that was part of what the Jags' plan was. And when everybody was freaking out about the contract, that's the conversation we had is, okay, well, if you're doing this in 3 years, then you're going to be paying even more. And so you get ahead of some of these contracts if you start to see the ceiling and some of the things you want to see. And I think it was in D-Rock's article that we were talking about yesterday where he said, it was consistently inconsistent. And that was kind of the label that Trevor Lawrence had for a long time. He did some moments where you're like, whoa, there's not many people that can make that throw or can make that decision, or even at certain points, the way he would use his legs. And then there were moments where you were just like, what was that? I don't understand how a quarterback who can do something so incredible 2 plays ago makes that type of mistake very soon after. And so that was kind of the roller coaster that you were on for so long. And it does really feel like the coaching staff and Trevor reeled all of that in, and that you mentioned, we all say probably 7 or 8 games. You say more like that 5 is the stretch. That final 5 is where it really broke loose, and you saw him be the most comfortable that we've seen him in the NFL, and that is in every aspect of it. That's when he needed to take off, when he needed to kind of make a little more difficult decisions, when he needed to lead the receiver, when he needed to throw away the ball, when he needed to escape a sack, when he needed to change the play at the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
All of those things, it all felt like it came together in that final stretch. And that's what you want to see continue, because that was a lot of consistency in the end. And that's what most of us who had criticized and were waiting for that to happen, that's what we wanted to see happen, was not a good game, a bad game, a good game, a bad game. You wanted that stretch of games where you felt like it had changed. And I feel like I was one of the ones who, Tommy, you and I early in the season was like, oh, I don't know. There's still something missing, it feels like. And at the end, I was like, this is it. This is what I had been wanting to see from Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. And people are always allowed to criticize, every position on the field, every player on the field.
Yeah.
The quarterback obviously gets the most blame and usually gets the most criticism too. Like, everyone talks about quarterback and the wins and losses, right? And it's like, but there's so much more that goes into it.
Yeah.
They also get the most credit.
That's what I
at the
said.
end.
That's what I said.
You said criticism.
They get the most criticism, but they also
The
get
more blame, you said.
the
Sorry.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
That's what I
They
meant
also
was the
get
credit.
good things.
That's what I mean. They always get the credit too.
Right.
If the team's losing, they get the most criticism. If the team's winning, they get the most credit. And it doesn't always apply. Like, we still talk about Sam Darnold. Yeah, he won the Super Bowl, but none of us would say like Sam Darnold's going to be the best
Super
quarterback
Bowl,
in the league next year, right? And all those things. But I think so. It's been fair to criticize, but I guess I've had people in my inner circle who were just so negative towards Trevor that eventually, when he started playing well, they still couldn't see it. And then finally, I feel like the dam broke loose, and it was like, okay, you now are saying that, or you're now finally seeing that this is a quarterback that you can win a Super Bowl with. You can build a franchise around. And I mean, Trevor's played 5 seasons. 3 of those, the team had winning records. And again, that's not all on Trevor, or that's not all because of Trevor. That's not all an issue with him the years that they lost. He just wasn't on the field a lot, though, when they lost. But yeah, to your point about D-Rock's article yesterday, anytime Trevor pretty much has a QBR over like 70, the team wins. If it's under 30, the team loses. Well, sure, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no doubt. Look, it's a what have you done for me lately type league. I mean, he was great in 22. He was really good in 23 till he got hurt against Cincinnati. And then 24 wasn't that great. Some of it due to injury. Some of it just he wasn't playing very well. And then the start of 25, it was good, and then it wasn't good. And then it was good and, just like we said, inconsistent. And then it hit. But you could say, look, I mean, 2.5 out of the 4 years, forget Urban, he was pretty good. Pretty good to really good. And then things factored in. But look, at the end of the day, I think he had to look in the mirror himself. I think they. I know for a fact that they coached him very hard and still will, and not just Liam, but all the people involved with Trevor. That's not a negative thing. That's a good thing. That's just an accountability thing. That's a hey man, let's make sure your footwork is right every single time, even when you have a completion.
Sure.
Like let's perfect it. Let's even if you make a great throw with your arm because your arm's that good, let's just make sure that our feet are in the right spot, pointing in the right direction. Those little types of things. So when they don't add up into big type of things. So I think Trevor did have. Look, the young man. I should say not kid. He's the father.
26.
Yeah, he's a man. He's a father. He could get it done on talent alone for a long time. He could get it done, talent plus working, but then when we figured out, look, I got to do even more. If I'm going to lead this team, if I'm going to be that QB they need me to be, I have to do even more than what I'm doing inside the building. And I think it shows. And why do I think that? Because the mistakes went away.
Right.
They just don't. They just don't go away by chance. They go away through working through it, through studying, through being honest with yourself, and then going through the motions with fixing those and correcting those mistakes.
And to bring it all full circle, basically you have, or connect the circle, you have Liam Cohen, whose play calling really improved the way that Trevor Lawrence played. The scheme itself was way better than we saw with Doug Peterson and Press Taylor. And you have James Gladstone, and certainly Tony Baselli helping too, but James Gladstone being able to make a trade midway through the season and bringing Jacoby Myers here to also help improve the offense. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, but certainly our expectations for 2026 are going to be even higher.
Through the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, MVP, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Super Bowl MVP.
Zero votes in 2025 We need some votes in 2026.
We're getting votes.
All right, we'll keep the Jaguars storyline conversation going. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010X on 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels from the Greenlaw Group Studios. It's hard to explain, but play-by-play just sounds better on the radio.
What a turn of events!
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
If you're thinking about getting a new roof sometime this year, Endless Summer Roofing can help. I'm Claudia, owner of Endless Summer Roofing. Stronger materials, expert installation, real peace of mind. A new roof isn't just an upgrade. It's the primary source of protection for your family home. Visit EndlessSummerRoofing.com for a free inspection today, and I'll make sure you're ready for tomorrow. Endless Summer Roofing. Protecting your home from Florida's endless summers.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Backed by
Morgan & Morgan.
Mike Dempsey here, and it's commercial truck season at Duval Ford. Right now, your business can drive off with serious savings. Thanks to Section 179 of the IRS tax code, you can immediately deduct the full purchase price of qualifying new or pre-owned work trucks and equipment this year, instead of depreciating it over time. Upgrade your fleet, lower your tax bill, and get to work fast. Visit DuvalFord.com to explore inventory or stop by 1616 Cassett Avenue today for big number 1 Duval Ford.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 17th, 1974, Richard Petty won his 5th Daytona 500, becoming the first driver to win back-to-back 500s.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
The First Coast Games is an annual team-building challenge to introduce fun activities into the workplace and focus on your employees' health and wellness goals. These goals include some friendly competition, of course, including pickleball, cornhole, volleyball, flag football, and other team sports. The games will begin in March. Register your company and teams at fcymca.org.
The riders who face Daytona Supercross are built different. Withstanding the most unforgiving and grueling track is not just a point of pride, but of pure grit and determination. This battle can only be felt in person. Witness the action unfold at the only place in Florida where the biggest names will battle it out under the lights. Daytona Supercross is built different. It's built for champions. It's built for fans. The gate drops Saturday, February 28th. There's only one place to be. Secure your tickets and trackside access at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
RJ Saunders here, sports fans, and whether it's get well roses or a be happy situation, I always call the experts at Kuhn Flowers. Sending a floral arrangement is just so easy. Log on to KuhnFlowers.com and leave it to them. Kuhn Flowers is the only name you'll ever need to know.
Valentine's Day is sweet, but let's be honest, your septic tank wants attention too. Because when it gets ignored, it doesn't sulk, it causes problems, big ones. That's why Duck Rooter, the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida, is rolling out the Show Your Septic Some Love promotion. Right now, get $50 off septic tank pumping when you book by February 28th. Give your septic a little love now so it doesn't make a big scene later. When you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769, duckrooter.com.
When it's game time, make feeding the crowd easy. Chicken Salad Chick serves fresh Southern-style chicken salad, flavorful sides, and crowd-favorite catering trays. Order ahead at chickcatering.com or visit one of 4 area locations today.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Oh, you gonna take me home tonight? Oh, down beside that red firelight. Oh, you gonna let it all hang out. Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round.
I can't talk during that part of
Yeah,
Queen's
not.
Fat Bottom Girls.
Get on your bikes and ride.
That's right. Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. All right, so breaking down our favorite Jaguar storylines from 2025, but you have a story to share, and since the Players is coming up, so let's hear it.
Yeah, I've got man, it's funny. I look back, I got so many Players stories, TPC, fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like just I remember Cheever, and I was always with Michael Cheever for some reason, but we sprinted down 18, the fairway, when it was pouring down rain, and hardly anybody was out there because it was over. And we were so drunk. We ran that whole way and then did this big slide, and then the Rangers, they were all
I was going to say,
at us,
I'm going to get Stewart
but
in
it was
trouble.
pouring rain, so we didn't really do any damage, not too much. But the time I was telling you, so we used to park in front of the Marriott, and the Marriott, you'd go out the back, and there would be a pontoon boat that would take you over to the 12th tee box, that par 3. So you'd come back that way. So me and Cheever, a couple other guys, we go, I think it was like a Thursday or one. I brought my brother Bob, who you guys met this weekend, and they got us into I think we'd passed to the Coca-Cola tent. So free beer one anyway. So we had far too much to drink. So we're coming back, and I got to go to the bathroom really bad. And and the line to get on the pontoon is way too long. I mean, just wicked long. And I'm like, oh man. She's like, T-Mac, what are you gonna do? I said, man, I don't know. He goes, well, you know what? I bet you can't beat the boat over to the dock. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, swimming over there. I'm like, hell yeah, I can. He's like, well, then do it. Let's see you do it. I'm like, all right, fine. I started taking off my shoes. I took off my shirt. And the guy in the boat's like, hey, I'll put in $100 on that one. We're like, all right, fine, let's go. And they all jumped in the boat, and I jumped in the water. And now, granted, I had a straight shot, so it wasn't like I had to go, on this roundabout way. They had to go in a roundabout way, and I'm sure they avoided me not to run me over. But I beat the boat. And the guy on the boat wouldn't pony up. Yeah, he almost got thrown back in the water. But he didn't pony up. We're like, you're we called him every name. We're like, you little whatever. But anyway, the funny part of the whole story is my future father-in-law was in the line.
Oh my!
I had no idea who he was. He did not met me, and it was 2 years before I met Christina.
Okay.
So he came home. He's like, I can't believe what I saw. Tommy Fans jumped in the water and swam again and beat the boat. But
he knew
crazy.
who you were.
He knew who I was because he was a big Jag fan.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had met him yet. Like, yeah, future father-in-law.
At least he saw you win.
Yeah, right.
Because if you lost, I don't know.
Right. No doubt.
So then you had to go into the Marriott to go to the bathroom. Just
yeah, right, exactly. Moral of the story, don't drink too much at TPC. That's
a good moral.
That's
Did you
the
ever
idea.
think about alligators in that little pond?
You know, it's funny. When I was swimming, I heard a little like noises, but I thought maybe it was the engine, so I wasn't too concerned.
Okay.
I don't know. I was drunk. I wasn't even thinking about alligators.
Did you ever swim competitively?
No, but I've always been a good swimmer.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I swam as a workout in my old house. I had a nice pool that I could swim in and always did laps and that kind of thing. Actually created a stroke called the polar bear.
Really?
And I still do it today when I swim. Yeah, go watch how a polar bear swims, and you can do that in a pool, and it jacks up all your upper body and your triceps and your thighs, and you keep your head above water the whole time. It's kind of like an elongated doggy paddle.
Okay.
But you gotta and if you gotta close your fingers so there's no
Right. So it's like a paddle.
It's like a paddle, but you gotta go all the way straight down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah. So anyway.
God forbid you get your hair wet, by the way.
Well, no, you could do whatever. it's just we don't have to worry about breathing. A lot of people don't like to swim because
difficult.
the breathing can be different. Turn to the side,
Yeah.
whatever. You're the swimmer though, aren't you?
I was.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
The butterfly. I wish I could do the butterfly because I would do that all day long. That's a great. Swimming's like one of the best workouts you can do.
Nowadays, I can probably only do like a lap to 2 of butterfly,
Really?
and then I'm exhausted because it is really difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, once upon a time, that was my favorite stroke.
Yeah, I bet. I could never get
It's
it down.
harder for girls too, especially because it takes so much upper body strength. But that's where, as a younger kid, I always had an advantage over the other girls. Those
Still have an
biceps.
advantage.
Maybe slightly. All right, back to our favorite Jaguar storylines on the other side, but just had to get that story. And if any of you have raced a pontoon boat and won, let us know.
Yes, let us know.
It's Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Protected by
Green Law Group. For the insured. Fighting for you.
The Green Bay Packers. This is Hall of Famer Jerry Kramer. Has a nice ring, doesn't it? They won their 4th under Vince Lombardi. And you're listening to 1010 XL.
Hey, Hicken here. Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $149. Book online anytime at ZeroResJacksonville.com and mention the 1010XL special.
Zero Res.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Some auto shops call it an inspection and flag any little thing. That's called a wallet flush. At AA Automotive, they don't play that game. They fix only what needs fixing. AA Automotive on Richard Street. Boring name, awesome service, and no wallet flush.
Fish know where to hide. Captain Kevin knows how to find them.
That's a big one.
Listen for the Wind Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care, totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
The month for love is the perfect time to get your home organized. Hey, Lauren Brooks here, and I just love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live, from closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and storage for any space and budget. With their new showroom now open, they have extended the offer of 40% off, plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free consultation to go see that new showroom. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Could you imagine? There was a time you could just tell your kids to shut up, right to their face. No explanations, just shut up. How much easier would that have been? Why is the sun hot? I don't know. Why don't you shut up? Well, that was uncalled for.
Tom Papa Live in the Grateful Bread Tour. Saturday, February 21st, on stage at Florida Theater. Tickets are on sale now at floridatheater.com.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
After attending a Saturday Bumps and Bruises clinic by Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, my son's hip and shoulder issues were diagnosed quickly, and he's back playing. As a busy family, we really appreciate their prompt attention.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Spring is almost here. Is your yard ready? Lucas Tree Service, a family-owned business with over 45 years of experience, is your local certified arborist for tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for residential or commercial properties. Protect your home, boost your curb appeal, and get top-notch service from a Jacksonville company. Make sure your trees are healthy and safe before summer hits. Schedule your tree inspection today at lucastreeservice.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. The Orlando Magic will hit the road on Thursday and try to extend the Sacramento Kings losing streak, as the two will clash in California at the Golden One Center at 10 Eastern. The Magic have just 29 games left in their season and still have some work to do to get out of the play-in tournament and into the top six, as they sit 1.5 games back of Philadelphia for the number 6 seed. Right now, 69 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Excited for the Morgan Wallen concert, I believe is 3 months away from today. Down in Gainesville, FLA. All right, Taylor, we have some submissions from the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures as far as Jags fans' favorite storylines from 2025.
We do. The majority, all fun, good ones.
We have negative ones?
We have one, not a negative one, but just commenting on something we were saying was a positive. But anyway, so somebody,
Let's start
a lot
with
of the
that.
comments.
Start with that one.
The negative one?
Yeah, let's hear the negative out there.
He's ready to put his gloves
It
on.
was in response to when we were talking about Trevor's progression and how he got better. So there were some of these, I'll read the ones because there was a few just kind of in response to Trevor and kind of correlating those to maybe some storylines. But then the one negative one said, let's hold on to see if he puts together one good whole season. So far, he's had half of seasons and never the full one. So that was just the one kind of negative. And 3 months ago, we would have gotten 25 of those. So that has shifted drastically when it comes to that. Somebody else said his situational awareness took a major jump after he got his footwork squared away. And that's something we've talked about a lot, is just how much that footwork went into everything else. And so I think that's it. And that same person, this is 4644, said it goes to show you that once you have the fundamentals under control, you can work on the finer points, which was another storyline preseason when we were talking about, like, give it a little bit of time. It's a new coach working with this quarterback. We were already seeing in preseason them having to go back to fundamentals and have a whole camp of just going through all the boring stuff. And so that
alignment and assignment,
all the alignment and assignment stuff. And so we were like, give it a little bit of time because he's working on the mechanics. He's working on his footwork. He's working on a new playbook. He's doing all of those things. And once you start to get those things down pat, that's when you don't have to overthink all of those small things.
By the way, the footwork thing I find fascinating because he was in the league for 4 years before Liam Cohen got to him. He had a former NFL quarterback as his head coach, right, who never adjusted his footwork. We hear from quarterback gurus all the time who never once said Trevor Lawrence needs to adjust his footwork. So props to Liam Cohen for doing that. But it's not like we all were criticizing his footwork in the first 4 years he was here.
And I didn't save this one, but somebody on the text line did say it kind of goes to show, number one, Liam was like, props to Liam for kind of testing Trevor in the way of being like, okay, cool, you've kind of been good your whole life because you have all of the natural ability and you have a great arm and you're the prototypical quarterback size, but I don't like the way this looks and switching that. So anyways, but somebody said one of the best storylines was every time commentators brought up the fact that Jacksonville could kick a 70-yard field goal at the end of the first half of every game. How many times was that talked about where it's like, the Jags only have to get to the 50 and Cam Little could probably make this kick. And that became a conversational point throughout the season, especially when he broke that record. After that, it was like, be careful. Jacksonville doesn't have to get very far for this.
We can't go head coach, GM, EVP, quarterback to kicker.
Yes, you can.
Sorry, Scopes, but we can't do that. Josh Scobie, by the way, once franchise tagged by this franchise.
That's right. You know, Cam Little's actually on my list as one of the storylines. But just real quick, back to Trevor was last year throwing really flat-footed at times. And that lazy ass, falling back, sidearm, all that went away, though. Think about that. Like all those plays, that whirly bird he used to do, that went away. Remember early on in the year, even some completions where they'd have to dive for the ball to make a catch or jump really high, and those went away. Those went away. The guys that like routine throws, you're like, how does he miss that? Like that went away. So those things, that is attributed to your footwork and to your mechanics, not just your feet. Right? It goes all the way up through your, through your hips and through your shoulders.
And a
all
healthy
that.
shoulder is an important
part. You can see the difference.
Too.
Yeah, no doubt. Health definitely played a part. But Cam Little, man.
Cam Little.
I think I would put takeaways by the defense ahead of Cam Little.
Yeah.
Well, we're not ranking them. We're just listing them.
Yeah. Now, the only full critique is I think Trevor regressed against the Bills, and Cam's got to make the damn kick in the playoff game. He's got to. 68, 70 is great. That's fantastic. But make those kicks in the playoffs. That's when we really need them.
I mean, he also missed 2 field goals against the Seahawks. Not that game was make or break this season.
No, right.
But you lost to the world champions in October, and it certainly could have been a closer game. You lost by 8 points. You missed 2 field goals. But you got to make the field goal.
Got to make them.
But if we're going to criticize Cam, we also have to criticize Liam for going for it on 4th down instead of kicking the chip shot.
He's
field
not
goal.
immune to critique either. No, nobody is.
Our favorite story though. Exactly. But our favorite storylines are not going to be the negative things that happen this season. That's why they're our favorites. I think Coach Campanile, if he's not high on your list when it comes to a guy that came into Jacksonville and completely revamped the defense, then midway through the season decided to tear it all the way down to the studs and was able to deploy guys and have seasons, some career seasons from some of these defensive players. And if I had told you before the season the defense is going to be better, you would have said, well, I sure as hell hope so, because between Mike
get much worse.
and Ryan Nielsen, this defense was atrocious. And not only did it get much better, yes, it had flaws for sure, but it got a lot better, especially when it comes to takeaways. Still need more pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, just think who got better. Like Jarian got better. Antonio Johnson
Devin Lloyd
got better. Devin Lloyd
Devon Hamilton
got better. Devon Hamilton got better. Buster even got better.
Brown.
There was a lot of guys that
Dewey
stepped
probably
up.
had his best season.
Yeah,
Andrew
Dewey had a
Wingard.
great year. He did. He sure did, man. He was a good member of that defense, for the whole season, and was a big reason into those, the way they played. But they did. They got better on defense. And it's the coach knowing what he's doing and how to motivate them. One thing you hear about Anthony Campanelli from his players, they like the way he coaches. Like, he coaches them hard, but I think he has a little fun with them, too, when things go well. But he's a fiery guy, and he makes you want to go play hard for him. That's all you can ask for as a coach. Your job is to manage those personalities and get them ready for game day. And it's not easy. Not all of the personalities are the same. You got to figure them each one's out. What gets them going? What lights their fire? And he found a way. And I think his videos of the boxing and predators and all that. Like, hey man, we're hunters. We're gonna go out there and hunt. You know, he has the great sayings. God rewards those who run to the football. He's right. You should be rewarded when you run to the football. If you hustle, anything can happen. Think about how many plays. I don't care any team, right? Think about how many plays. You see a defensive player take like one or two, and then the ball pops out. And if he just ran the whole way, he would have picked the ball off. You know what I mean? That's running to the football. Not saying, oh, my teammates got it, I can rest up. It's like, no, we're all going. Yeah. And then anything can happen once that ball is out. So he's been a great addition.
Yeah, somebody else just said the Chiefs game, that storyline. Well, they just said the Chiefs game was one of their favorite, I guess, moments. But that made me think in the sense of all of the boxes that started to be checked that were issues. When you talk about West Coast games, when you talk about Houston at home, when you talk about teams like the Kansas City Chiefs and the Bills or I guess not the Bills as much, the Chiefs mainly, some of those guys, the Niners are teams that you just got absolutely annihilated by in recent years. You were able to start checking off a lot of those things that had felt kind of like, are we ever going to be able to do this? Or is it some curse, kind of lingering over the Jaguars? And so that is another storyline, I think, of you started saying, okay, like this team is good enough to not have the things that were holding them down in the past continue to hold them down. They were able to start breaking some of these, and I'm putting this in air quotes, but curses that had kind of been hovering over them for so long. And that was really fun too. The West Coast story, I remember how big of a story that was going into that game, and it did not matter whatsoever.
Yeah, I think having the first-year GM, the first-year head coach, the first-year defensive coordinator, first-year offensive coordinator in the world of the first, like all of those things. And then the Jaguars had the most touchdowns ever as a franchise this past season. And yeah, I think all of those things are very cool to kind of have that proverbial monkey off your back.
Yeah.
Every week you'd be like, it's a season of first.
Yeah. And they were fantastic all year. Travis Hunter's on my list too. What a storyline. I mean, the hype coming in, the national media attention, what he brought to the table, what you saw in practice, like the first couple of times. Like I remember me and Bees were standing in the end zone during a red zone drill, and they're in full pads, and Trevor threw it up in the corner, and not totally in the corner, but in the back of the end zone, but close to the corner. And Travis Hunter jumped up, I swear it was like 4.5 feet off the ground. And we were like, you got to be kidding. And he made the catch. And it was just unbelievable how easy. And he didn't even have to try. He just got went, bloop, up he went. And we're like, wow, unbelievable that he had that kind of talent. But even the storyline of him, coming in his own on offense against the Rams and then getting hurt. Remember when he got hurt, it was like, big sail, like someone poked our sail and all the air came out. We're like, oh, no. But what happened? We came around. We rallied around. We figured it out. You get Jacoby, you get guys that can help. You get guys playing better, and you don't miss a beat. That actually got better. Scored a lot of points without Travis Hunter. And again, that goes back to people bitching and moaning about this whole thing where he's going to play. Well, if you look at it from a team aspect, he's needed a lot more on defense than he is on offense. The offense proved they can win and score a lot of points without him. Would I like to have him as a little extra, zoom? Of course I would. But at the end of the day, the number one thing he needs to do is to help our defense become an elite defense. And I think that's the kind of player he can be. But his storyline was cool. I mean, come on, dancing, great energy, jumping around, smiling.
The juice.
Everybody loved him, and they still do. And then the hurt, and then everyone feeling like crap, and then the team rising to the occasion. That's a pretty good storyline.
When we first saw that he was we were honestly headed to Vegas that week, and we saw on the injury report, I want to say he wasn't even at the airport, and I was like, oh dang, Travis Hunter was limited at practice today with a knee injury. Like that's no good.
Right.
But at that point we didn't really think that much of it. That was odd. And then to find out season-ending knee injury, and then obviously the LCL and the surgery and things like that. Yeah, it was deflating in the moment. But like you said, the team was able to figure things out in the passing attack way better down the stretch. And go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was like, you never want anybody to get injured, but in a sense, it's almost like that is what kind of pushed them to go get Jacoby Myers, who now got in a contract extension, which now makes us feel like, and what we've heard is that it pushes that to, okay, you're the corner now. And so did any of that happen if Travis Hunter stayed out there, or were they still going to be trying to force both sides of the ball, and you never get Jacoby, and you're having a situation right now where you're still saying, what is Travis Hunter, and do we need another wide receiver? So some things I think happen for a reason, and I think credit to Gladstone too for not being scared to make a lot of these moves, to trade up for a Travis Hunter being one of those, but trading for Jacoby Myers. That I don't I don't know if anybody would say the Greg Newsome thing totally worked, but by saying Tyson Campbell's not fitting what we want, so let's trade him away and get somebody else. Balky wasn't that guy to make those bold moves, especially mid-season like that. So it was really, that's refreshing too, to feel like you have a general manager who's not scared to kind of go out there and do what he needs to do to fix things immediately.
Yeah, he showed that with the Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
Just like, hey man, I don't care about the money. He's not going to be.
Ingram.
He's not part of it.
And Gabe Davis was at the presser, the Liam Cohen presser. Remember, he was on crutches at that point in time. I thought for sure Tom would have mentioned Cole Van Lannon by this point in the show. It's 3:12. I also thought we would have mentioned Parker Washington by now, but there's so many good storylines to discuss. So we'll keep this conversation going. Don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels, 10-10X on 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Fought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL.
Something is coming.
It's 1010XL.
We actually found it! Yes, that's all that matters to me.
Lauren Brooks here for my friends at Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out fast. You need them out as fast as possible, and you need to keep them out. When pest issues arise at my house, I know Terminix will be there quickly, and I trust their technicians will eliminate any of those pests. They will do the same for you and your family because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule your free inspection online. That's TerMinix.com.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
It's a Helmets and Heels Tuesday, backed by Morgan & Morgan.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Born in Jacksonville before moving to Philadelphia, John Chaney was remembered for his legendary tenure as the head coach of the Temple Owls men's basketball team. The Hall of Fame coach led Temple to 17 NCAA tournament appearances, which included 5 NCAA regional finals and won 6 Atlantic 10 conference titles. Chaney had 741 wins as a college coach and was twice named the National Coach of the Year. I'm RJ Saunders, and this Black History Month profile is brought to you by Instant Keys, fast professional locksmith service.
If you missed it, get it on demand.
And you send those out on the line.
Find your 1010XL favorites where you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com. Channel 5. Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Hi, this is Dale Murray with Murray Automotive Group in Stark and Kingsland. Save yourself from those big city dealers and their fast-talking mumbo-jumbo. No matter what your automotive need is, we've got you covered. Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and nobody beats our prices. I mean nobody. Shazam! Plus our exclusive 15-year, 150,000-mile warranty included on every qualified vehicle. And we'll trade anything from high heels to wagon wheels. Compare our prices online at ShazamAuto.com. Then come see me, Dale Murray. I'll be waiting for you. Shazam!
Tara Lagaman for Local Fair Jacks. It's our go-to for local produce, eggs, and meat. You pick exactly what you want each week online, straight from local farmers. And knowing where your food comes from matters. Visit localfairjacks.com.
Hi, I'm Janice. I'm a coach at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. When a client reaches the goal that they've set, they are so proud of themselves. They are so thrilled with how they look and how they feel. They are ready to take on the next thing. And that's one thing about weight loss. It's so much more than a number on a scale. It's about self-respect. It's a momentum thing. Now that I've lost 50 pounds, wow, there's no reason why I can't do this next thing that initially seemed so daunting, but now I know I can do it. The celebration is not just how much better you look and feel, but how much more self-respect you have. We get on a track of success at Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Losing weight with Awaken 180 isn't about the number on the scale. It's about how that number spearheads endless success. Bring your goals to Awaken 180, then celebrate when you check off each and every one of them. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this Tuesday afternoon, flying through the week already. And what's coming to Lauren's Lane today is going to be a surprising upset because I'm not going to talk about the Florida Gators.
Come on. I look forward to that.
Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
I mean, if you'd like, Tom, I can tell you that tonight we have UNF at Florida for softball. So that game in Gainesville.
Nice.
And then tomorrow night, Florida comes to UNF. So UNF plays host to the Gators tomorrow night in softball. So if you are wanting some Florida Gator conversation, you get it there. Plus also, of course, Florida, South Carolina. South Carolina at Florida tonight in Gainesville.
Tonight,
Yeah, 7 o'clock. And you can hear that right here on the Superstation. But
100-point spread on that one.
I mean, I don't know what the spread is. It's probably like 20-something, but it could be more than that.
Yeah.
Like I said yesterday, Florida won 95-48 when the game was in Columbia.
Yeah.
But what's coming to Lauren's Lane is going to be another of my favorite storylines for 2025, and that is we thought that the Jacksonville Jaguars, when building towards Stadium of the Future, would have to relocate for 2 seasons. But the Jaguars did such a great job of asking feedback from all the different fans and different leaders in our community. And everybody said, we only want the team gone for 1 year. However, you have to figure it out. If it's possible, please only take our Jaguars away for 1 season. And so they were able to figure it out. Limited capacity, obviously, this year in 2026. So I would imagine around 40,000 seats. I haven't heard an exact figure, but that would be my guess.
Yep.
And then the next season, also my guess, it has not been made official, but would be Orlando. And then in 2028, we have the Stadium of the Future, the fully renovated, gorgeous stadium here with the cover so fans don't get overheated or don't get wet through rain. And the fact that they listen to us, I feel like that's a massive victory. Yeah, you don't want to have to travel to see your team for more than 1 season.
No, definitely not. I mean, next year with the limited capacity, that'll be a problem for some people, but whatever.
Sure.
They'll be on TV. You'll be able to watch them. And then, of course, Orlando after that. For the year, and then they come back, and time will pass. You'll be like, it wasn't that long anyway, We're gonna have 62,000. I think that's brilliant because you should be able to fill that no problem, week in and week out. I mean, if they're winning, it's gonna be a tough ticket, and all you fans that wanted to go to games, and it's gonna be a tough ticket if they keep winning and that capacity. So no, it's all good things, man, and I agree with you. They're doing the right thing for the fans. Again, the next 2 years, you got to sacrifice a little bit, but man, for the reward that they're going to get and the reward we're getting downtown with not just that, but the hotel and everything else, and what that's going to spring into, the more development downtown, it's going to be a new Jacksonville before you know it in the downtown area. So it's all great stuff for sure.
Yeah. Do you think the NFL script writers are going to let the Jags win at limited capacity, get a home field advantage, limited capacity?
Yeah, right. No, probably not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably not.
by the way, from what I can tell, it looks like there still is the opportunity to put a deposit down on the 2026 season tickets. So if you're listening to us and thinking, well, I don't want to miss out on a season of Jaguars football where, they at least look primed to be winning double-digit games again, and I don't want to be on the outside looking in when it comes to the limited capacity, you can, I think, still get season tickets for next season.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
you don't want to be that person that's like, I'll wait a little bit, and then they sell out because there is that limited capacity. So just putting that PSA out there. Also, a completely random PSA. You can uncover your plants now.
Do people still have them covered?
Yes, there
It
are
got
still
warm
people.
today.
Absolutely.
Bit.
But there's still
Suck,
people, with them covered. And I'm like, guys, we've made it through. If there is another freeze, you can recover them. But I don't know that we'll have that.
I think it is coming, actually.
Of another freeze?
I saw something.
At the beach?
I saw something yesterday saying.
I'd be surprised.
Yeah, maybe it's not as cold as we got, but I saw something where it was like at night. I reposted it.
I like when
so
it's
it's
cold
getting.
at night.
It's like we'll get to 30. So it says upper 80s. Obviously, we know that's happening this week. And by next Tuesday, we're going to have in the mornings and early, like high 20s, high 20s, low 30s.
Low 30s, right. Wow. Take the 80, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
All weekend long.
The lows I see at the beach, the lowest in the next 10 days is 37. So at least at the beach, when just you can uncover those plants,
That's
give them a
right.
little sunshine. That's all I'm saying.
No doubt about it.
All right, back to Jaguar storylines. I kind of teed us up about Cole Van Lannon, Parker Washington. I feel like we could name so many different players on this team, but Parker's such a great story because he had a phenomenal training camp and then ended the season with a bang. And Cole Van Lannon's a guy that we didn't ever expect to sign a contract extension during the season, and he certainly did, and he's primed to be the left tackle.
Yeah.
Didn't get to practice in training camp and then got a contract during the season.
Yeah. And earned it.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, showed he could play left tackle. I don't think we go any further with these storylines without mentioning that, 2.0 Helmets and Heels was born in 2025.
That was
valid.
Right in July. I was not expecting it at all.
Yeah.
When Steve Griffin brought me into his office, I was like, oh no, what did I say? Said something wrong.
We had similar sentiments when we got called into the office in July, too.
Don't know what's going on, but yeah, been great. I've enjoyed the show. It's fantastic getting to know you guys. We have a lot of fun on the air and off.
We do.
And it's a unique show, so we'll hopefully keep up the good work.
That's right.
And keep it rocking. But yeah, that was a great storyline. And then
Thanks for joining us, by the way.
well,
Not
listen.
every guy wants to work with women.
Well, they knew who I live with, right? I live with a bunch of ladies, and if
But
anybody
cool
can handle
ladies.
it, oh yeah. It wouldn't be any other way. Of course, they're going to be cool with me. It's going to be coolness there. But CVL is pretty cool. And he's got a cool nickname, at least as long as I'm giving it to him, right?
Sure.
Cole Van Lannon, the jack of all trades, showed that look, you keep fighting. You keep trying. You keep because he wasn't a marquee name even when he got here. I remember when they brought him in. And I was like, oh, I heard of him before, right? And he wasn't a star with the Green Bay Packers, but I knew he was there. And I was like, oh, he should be a physical kind of old lineman from the NFC North. He'll keep an eye on him. When he got here, you're like, okay, and again, you didn't know what he was going to be. He was probably third or fourth team at the time. You didn't
I thought
know.
he was a guard, honestly.
Well, they tried him at guard,
Yeah.
and then they needed him at tackle. And then he showed he could play tackle.
Right.
And then I always thought he could play guard, and then he proved that right as well. Like most people didn't think he could play left, but he can absolutely play that left tackle. So what a grinder, what a reward. So well deserved. Those are the stories you love, like the Parker Watch. You love these stories of guys that fought for it all, maybe weren't the marquee guys right off the bat, but worked their way into the starting lineup, earned themselves a great contract that's going to keep their family, in the great spot for the rest of their lives and beyond. And you're playing a game that you love to play. And you can tell that guy loves to play football. He loves to get after it. I didn't know this too, but and I shouldn't say no one knew he couldn't play left tackle because the old linemen say when they do their drills, he's the most athletic out of all of them, which you're like, wow, I didn't.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting
Yeah, I thought
when
it
you
would have
heard
been Ezra.
that. Whoever else, but not Cole Van Lannon for whatever reason. But he's shown that he's got the feet, he's got the heart. He's an animal like when he needs to be. He's very physical. I think Baselli said it best. He's just a gamer. He's just a competitor. He's going to go out there and you're not going to have to worry about him. It's a guy you just put wherever he's playing. He's going to give it you his all. He's going to be physical. He's going to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And, man, they found a nice gem. And I hope he comes back wicked healthy. An off season. Like all these old linemen, they're all coming back. Right? Every one of them are under contract through 2026, I read. No unrestricted free agents, right? So another year. We talk about Trevor in another year. They get another year together, working out together, hanging out together, getting to know each other even better, becoming even tighter friends, even tighter on the field. Right. That O-line should be. And that's what you want, right? You want these O-lines to stick around for a while because they only get better when they get more cohesive and more experience and more, repetitions together. So they're going to be a fun group to watch.
Yeah.
And having Cole Van Lannon be your left tackle, I think is what a great story, and will be a great story going into 26.
Yeah, I was about to make a joke just saying he had to just get out of Wisconsin, but then I was like, he was born in Wisconsin, went to Wisconsin, and then was drafted by the Packers. So I don't know if he'd like that joke too much, but I think we have a lot of those this year when it comes to the storylines of a Cole Van Lannon. I would put Parker in that conversation.
Sure.
You're putting a Devin Lloyd, you're putting an Antonio Johnson, a Buster Brown. Some of these guys that really this year was kind of not saying a full-on prove-it year, but a year of like, here's your chance, because whether an injury happened or whatever the case may be, somebody not playing to the level you were hoping, they got their shot at proving they deserve a spot on this roster or an NFL roster in general. And those guys all proved that this year that they belong in the NFL. And I think that those are always cool storylines to see.
I cannot believe it's 327 and Taylor hasn't mentioned Travis Etienne Jr.
I know. I actually should have put him in that category because it was, I think, a prove it for Etienne in the sense of before this, you go back to around draft time when the conversation was, is Etienne even going to be here? And then you draft Bashal Tootin. Everybody was like, it's going to be Tank and Tootin. And then obviously that kind of shifted when Camp and then Tank is gone. And then Etienne comes out and he just had a season where it was a little bit of a down toward at the end, not really when it comes to the yards per carry and all of that. But I still think there were moments of after contact and some of the things he was doing and pass catching and things like that he proved he belongs and he deserves to be a RB1 somewhere. And whether that's going to be here or somewhere else, I think he's going to get that shot. And I think that's really cool for Travis Etienne because it was kind of going the opposite way after the end of last season of, maybe he's not the running back that everybody thought he was. And now he proved, no, I deserve to be here. And so he does belong in that group with all the other names that I just said.
Came in great shape. And you saw his explosiveness was back early. He might have not missed a step, but it just didn't seem as quick and as fast up the line of
I don't
scrimmage,
think he was fully healthy last season. And Foye Luakin obviously also
was
not fully healthy. Foye healthy last season.
Foye healthy.
Yeah. But yeah, it feels like moving into 2026, we've talked about it so much. Like, how do you replace the Etienne production, 13 total touchdowns and everything that he does rushing the ball and then catching the ball to the backfield? And how do you replace the Devin Lloyd production? And those are going to be the storylines. Buster Brown, certainly a third storyline in there as well, since they're all free agents.
You got to wonder, are they looking at Rashad White? He could come in and be that, maybe not as much as Etienne, but at least in the passing game, know, and get him back to the way he was running earlier. They brought in the run game coordinator from Tampa, right? Maybe that, how do you look? That'd be a lot less expensive, and you'd fill the void. I don't know if you'd fill 13 touchdowns, but maybe collectively with Tootin.
And that's
Allen
the thing.
Jr.
We have to remember, and this as far as like competing for an NFL roster spot, right? Like, and especially a starting spot. Like, Bashal Tootin is going to be working as hard as he's ever worked.
No doubt.
To try and get to be RB1 of this team, especially if Etienne is
He
not
wants
that
to prove that I could be RB1. Look at me. Hey, this is what you drafted me for. I held the rock in college at that position. I can do it again. And listen, he looks like he's going to be fun.
He's super explosive.
Man.
The ball security, obviously, because of the 9 fumbles at Virginia Tech is what people had worried about.
But even towards the like that, in the playoff game, ad nauseum, but I wish we'd have seen more of that. But man, he ripped off 15, 12, 13 yards like it was nothing. Great vision, great cutback, great speed. If he continues to work on everything else, he can be a really, really good back. And that's what you weigh, right? You're the new regime. You love Etienne. You'd love to keep him. You'd love to keep everybody. But the reality is you can't keep everybody. And you got to keep the organization healthy. And you got to keep every position healthy, right? So would we like Etienne? Of course we would. Would we like him to make as much money? Of course we would. But that may not fit here. It just may not be a fit here, and we got to figure out, okay, if he does go, how do we replace him? How do we replace the production? It may not be 1 for 1, but collectively. And on top of that, look, we drafted 2 guys that we really believe in. Bashal Tootin, we believe he could be an RB1 or we wouldn't have drafted him. Allen's just a nice gem. We didn't know, we knew he was tough. Yeah. We knew he'd give it his all. We know he could box.
Yeah.
He can street fight if he needs to. No, but that was a nice gem for them to be like, oh, wow, this kid really, 7th round pick. You're not expecting much out of a 7th round pick. And he showed, no, I'm a player. I could be on this team and be a major contributor. So if they could fill that void with Etienne leaving, then that's probably better for the organization. Not necessarily better for the fans or for the people, but for the organization and what you need to do. Because, again, where were we really lacking on that? And not really lacking, but where do we need the most help? It's on defense. It's not at running back. And we're going to miss Travis Etienne Jr. and had if he's not tagged today, I guess. We'll probably keep an eye on that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But
$14 million for a running back. $27 million for a linebacker.
Let me just say
hard
this.
to justify.
It's only a source, right? But I saw on ESPN that Kenneth Walker III won't be tagged. If they're not tagging him, I'd be surprised us not that we tagged. I'd be surprised we still tagged.
It's certainly a high price. It's one thing if you're tagging, like last year the Bengals tagged T. Higgins and then ended up working out a long-term deal. Like that's a player that they knew wide receiver wise they wanted to have around for many years to come. And I'm not saying that the Jags don't want that with Etienne, but it's hard. I think it is more difficult when you're talking about a second contract with a running back.
Did that happened with Josh Hines-Allen too, right? They tagged him
Jaguars,
initially and then ended up having a contract later in the offseason.
Right, and that's the thing. You got decisions to make. If in a perfect world, you pay Etienne whatever you can, you pay Devin Lloyd whatever you need to. You pay everybody.
Just
we're one big happy family making a ton of money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That sounds amazing to me. That's for sure. Especially if you go win the Super Bowl.
If you win, right.
100%.
But you can't. You're not going to be able to keep everybody and pay everybody at least this year.
Yep. All right. The golden moment is next. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels 1010X on 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Fought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL. Home of the Jaguars fan.
To see the stadium packed tonight, it was awesome. One of the best game environments I've been in.
This is 1010XL.
When it's game time, make feeding the crowd easy. Chicken Salad Chick serves fresh Southern-style chicken salad, flavorful sides, and crowd-favorite catering trays. Order ahead at chickcatering.com or visit one of 4 area locations today.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday is
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan.
It's free window February with Renewal by Andersen. Right now, when you buy 4 replacement windows, you get the 5th for free. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 1 year. This offer expires February 28th. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When persistent plumbing problems leave you feeling flushed, don't panic. Call Roland Reich. They quote all pricing in advance, so your only surprise is how quickly they'll solve your issue. Roland Reich Plumbing, plumbingjacksonville.com.
Pickett here. Restore comfort and confidence with oculoplastic specialist Mary Kate Wilson, MD, at the Eye Associates, Jacksonville's expert in oculofacial plastic and reconstructive care. Dr. Wilson specializes in eyelid surgery, cosmetic and reconstructive procedures, and treatments, always with a personalized approach. Now seeing patients at the Beaches, Southside, and St. John's locations. To schedule your consultation with Dr. Wilson, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, company mascot at your service.
There are 2 important steps to installing the perfect garage floor. The 2-stage coating application, sure, but nothing is more important than preparing the floor. Our team uses diamond grinding machines to grind your floors to a smooth, level finish. Only then can we...
Hold on! You grind garage floors with perfectly lovely diamonds?
No, Chester. We grind floors to perfection using the very best ugly diamonds. Too ugly for jewelry, but perfect for the grinding pads we use to prep the surface.
Perfect preparation and application. Now that's a perfect marriage.
Ugly diamonds?
Check. Perfect preparation?
Check. Smooth, gorgeous gleaming floors that really catch your eye? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
So this is that time of year when all of the crazy rumblings start of what is going on. We've talked about some of our favorite storylines throughout this Jaguars season and how those may affect some things going into this offseason. But this time of year, when it comes to franchise tag and the transition tag, and then you start getting into free agency and you're getting close to draft, is when wild things start to be said about this team, other teams, whatever, about rumors of what may happen or not happen this offseason. I've already seen several on Twitter today when it comes to a lot of different teams. Tommy mentioned one earlier, but I saw another one just now about how the Colts are opening to trading Anthony Richardson. That's one I saw.
That's not that wild.
Yeah, I don't think it's not that wild, but it's still, I mean, when you're talking about quarterbacks, yeah. Those are just, some of them are crazy. Some of them are going to be like, oh, I could kind of see it. But this is that time of year when the rumors start to come out. And so one of the ones that I saw today, someone actually sent it over to me because they said, I think it was you, Tommy. You said, have you heard what the McShay stuff, what McShay said about CJ Stroud? And so I want to play that clip too, and then we'll get into some of these thoughts that McShay had said today about CJ Stroud.
The intriguing stuff, I'm told, don't be surprised in the next couple of weeks as we get closer and closer to free agency. There's going to be some big name quarterbacks that are currently in destinations that have contracts that are going to be targeted. Teams are going to be aggressive. CJ Stroud's a name. Does he need a new scenery? Joe Burrow's a long shot. No one thinks it's going to happen, but I'm just getting out ahead of, you're going to hear some information, whether it's at the forefront, like on the ticker, or some whispers and rumors that, someone allegedly threw a lot of money and a lot of picks and a lot of compensation offers in a package to try to get Joe Burrow out of Cincinnati. So be prepared for that is our kind of intel update today.
So interesting there. First of all, I laughed at the beginning because if you go back and watch the video of this and he says CJ Carr and the guy he's talking to, you could tell the look on his face. He was so confused. He was like, oh, is that?
Are we talking about college football? People are going to try and pilfer CJ Carr from Notre Dame?
He's like, I'm kind of confused. And then he was like, I mean, CJ Stroud. But I mean, I think that this one, I think, would be shocking, but I think that a lot of people would say they understand because of you had that C.J. Stroud rookie season where he came out and was a really good quarterback, and since then it hasn't been. And it's not even, and there's the excuses and the reasons we had here when it's like, okay, he's had a really bad offensive line. The last 2 years, he's had bottom 5 offensive line both years. They haven't been able to run the ball. They've had one of the worst run games the last couple years. His Tank Dell was missing this whole last season. The year before, Nico Collins got hurt too. So there's a lot of things that you could also put into excuses for CJ Stroud. But in the Houston Texans world, is this the quarterback you see in your future? And if we were having that same conversation about Trevor Lawrence here up until week 5 or 6, then you're going to have that same conversation definitely about a CJ Stroud in Houston.
Yeah, CJ Stroud had a terrible performance to end the season, Tom, in the postseason. And prior to that, also didn't play great this season. And so I can understand where McShay mentions his name as far as teams maybe being interested if the Texans have given up on him. The Joe Burrow one, we don't even have to talk about. I don't see Joe Burrow ever leaving the Bengals after, not ever, but I mean, after signing the deal that he signed in 2023 with them, the 5-year, $275 million contract. But yeah, the Stroud one,
not to mention the wide receivers they invested in. They're going to get rid of the QB.
Exactly. Yeah, we all know how hard it is to find a franchise QB, but I think the question is, does D'Amico Ryans want to continue to build his franchise and Nick Caserio, the GM in Houston, around CJ Stroud?
That's a great question. I mean, look, you guys are right. Since his rookie year, he's definitely gone down. He's decreased. It hasn't been as dramatic, at least stat-wise, as you think. He didn't play awful, but nowhere near where you thought he was going to be. But look, shouldn't they look at what Liam Cohen did with Trevor Lawrence? I mean, maybe he needs some hard coaching. And I'm not
can't
comparing.
have Liam.
I'm not comparing the two, but Trevor and CJ. I'm just saying, like, you've heard rumors in the past about CJ being a little tough to coach. I know early on, I remember hearing a story, like, coach is like, hey, man, this is how we do it. And he's like, well, we didn't do that at Ohio State. The guy's like, I don't care. And they got into a beef, like, early on as, like, a rookie or a first-year player.
I think that was Bobby Slowick.
And two to tango, I get it. Maybe there was some issue there. But at the same time, maybe he does need a little look in the mirror. Maybe needs some accountability. Look, he's got a ton of talent. There's no doubt about it. But something is amiss. Something was a big-time amiss in that playoff game. It almost felt like he was too cold, and the snow bothered him, and he just didn't want to be there. That's what I read from his face and from his body language. But look, I mean, if you're DeMeco Ryans, you're looking across the league and what did other teams do? I mean, nobody made a bolder move than Sean McVay with his quarterbacks. Nobody probably in the history to do what they did. You're like, what? You're getting rid of Goff? Really? Oh, wait, you're getting Stafford, but you're giving up 2 first-rounders. Holy cow, this is unbelievable blockbuster trade, but look what it did for them. So was DeMeco sitting there going, what can I get? Maybe, I mean, if I'm him, it's going to be hard because it's hard to keep it under the wraps, but I would see what I could get. It's got to depend with you. I'm not just going to give him in a pick and then go a different direction, because my other option is to bring somebody new in to coach his ass up and to get him right. He's got a lot of talent. I don't know, his awareness. I don't watch enough Houston Texans football. How does he see the field? Does he stare guys down? Does he miss open receivers all the time? Whatever the deal may be. But to me, he's got a ton of talent. And if you want to look anywhere further than what the Jags did, because we could have said, you know what? No, Trevor's got a ton of tools, but he's not putting it together consistently. And I'm not comparing the two. Trevor's been better than C.J. Stroud, but C.J. Stroud has not been awful. By the way, his rating's better than Trevor's in his 3-year career. Yeah, it's better.
I think because his rookie season was a lot better at QT.
Well, no, last year wasn't bad. It was a 92.9 rating. Yeah. So, whatever, however you measure that, however that is. But it's not like he doesn't have upside. No, if you're going to sit there and go, well, okay, I saw where Cleveland, poor what's his name, Sanders. He's like, can I catch a break here for crying out loud? You're trying to go after everybody, which I don't blame them. But I could see something like that as long as the package is like what Seattle got. With the Wilson trade. They get 4 picks, and they make something out of that. Look, Davis Mills shows he can hold down the fort for what, a year, maybe 2, maybe longer. I don't know. Maybe he's your guy.
He used to not be good at all, Davis Mills. And then this past season, he played better against the Jags defense than C.J. Stroud did.
He did play.
But I don't think they're going to look to the future saying, all right, well, we have Davis Mills, we can ship C.J. Stroud off. But I think they'll continue with Stroud into his 4th season.
For the record, Albert Breer also said it earlier in the month. I saw in an article that he was hearing whispers that Stroud may be in trade talks.
Well, maybe they want CJ to hear that to go back to your points about.
Yeah, very possible.
Or sometimes just to hear, like you said, you listen to phone calls of what people's value of CJ Stroud is, and then you go from there in that sense. And, because I don't think you don't have a Matthew Stafford right now. That was such a weird, unique situation where Detroit, Matthew Stafford was good, but Detroit could never win. And it was like they could get this young quarterback and you could get this veteran that can come in and plug and play and you're good. You get to work with Sean McVay. I don't think that situation's out there, so it would be more
Stroud
of a risk for
better
Houston.
than what some teams have right now. Obviously, like take the Dolphins.
But you're trading a franchise QB, so that's the news. Like you're getting rid of your guy.
The question
you're
is
done
who,
with him,
who would you roll on with? Yeah. All right, 1 segment to go. Pest of the day on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 10 to XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
From the Greenlaw Group Studios. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Mike Dempsey here for Big Number 1 Duval Ford. Did you know that Duval Ford offers a mobile service that comes to you at home or at work? Get oil changes, filters, battery replacement, recalls, and more with no extra fees. Same dealership quality delivered. Easy online scheduling with live technician tracking. Also available for fleets and commercial. On-site service at your convenience. Contactless payments and paperless invoicing. Serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas, Duval Ford. Schedule your next service at DuvalFord.com.
Hey, life can get a little hectic at times, and knowing it's time to get hurt, lost wages, injuries that hurt, and that hinder our success. If you're in this position due to the negligence of another, you deserve to be paid. What's up, Jacksonville? Tom McManus here. Injuries suck, and I know it. And if you get injured, check out Morgan & Morgan, the largest personal injury law firm in the country. 100 offices, over 1,000 lawyers with enough firepower to handle any and all personal injury cases that you may be dealing with. They make filing a claim easy and don't get paid unless you do. Morgan & Morgan. That's right, for the people. Visit forthepeople.com or hit Pound Law from your cell. Pound Law, that's all.
It's a Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Backed by Morgan & Morgan. For the people. Dial Pound Law.
Instant Keys is turning 25. A quarter century of saving the day when your keys mysteriously vanish.
Seriously, it was just in my pocket.
Or when that remote fob decides to quit working.
The dealership is such a hassle.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, house keys, transponders, re-keys, and even high-tech smart locks. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you for honest, professional locksmith service. Use Instant Keys.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
The road to March runs through Jacksonville. The 2026 Atlantic Sun Conference men's and women's basketball tournament is coming to VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Catch all 24 Division I basketball programs in action March 3rd through 9th. Reserve your seat today at asunsports.org/tickets. Jacksonville is the destination for ASUN basketball. Get your tickets to the 2026 Atlantic Sun Conference men's and women's basketball tournament today. asunsports.org/tickets.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to FloridaHomeAC.com/careers to find out more.
Hacker here. We're rolling towards March, and for most people, that just means better weather and more golf. For me, 2 years ago, this time of year was a life changer. Honestly, it felt like a lifesaver. That's when I started Awaken 180. And in 1 month, I was down 35 pounds. 2 months, 50 pounds. And no, it wasn't magic. It wasn't some miracle shot. I tried the meds. I tried the cutting carbs. I tried convincing myself I was fine. None of it stuck. Awaken 180 wasn't a trick. It was a solution, a real plan, a coach who didn't let me drift, and the weight just melted off. That's the only way I can describe it. And here's the best part that matters. It stayed off. I'm not bracing for it to come back. I've kept my 122 pounds off for well over a year, and it stayed gone. Have 35 to lose? Cakewalk. 50? Simple. If March for you is just another month, fine. But it could be your turning point. It was mine. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and this month I want to talk to you about welcoming the winds of change in your life. But so often, when we see the winds of change coming our way, our immediate response is to fight it. Friends, when you see things in your life changing, when the winds of change are coming your way, don't fight it, but embrace it. Recognize that God is stirring you up so that you too can soar like an eagle.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Before we head out to JU to talk to the Frangie Show ahead of JU playing host to Florida State in baseball tonight. Time now for today's Terminix Pest of the Day is always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. They do a great job taking care of any pest control issues that you may have, just like they do at my house, Everbank Stadium, VyStar Ballpark, VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. So the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets announced today that IMG Academy will be fined $1.72 million for accepting tuition fees for 2 students whose parents are linked to Mexican drug cartels.
Wow.
I don't think you can do that. Apparently, the tuition transactions for those 2 students racked up 89 violations of counter-narcotics sanctions. So IMG,
wow.
you are today's pest of the day.
Let me guess, they tried to pay in cash.
No, wire transactions.
How much is it? 100
Do you take wire transfers?
Yeah, that can be tracked. All right, let's talk a little hardball with the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes at UNF last week, JU tonight. Lots of college baseball for you.
Yes, absolutely. We're excited to be out here. It's gorgeous here at JU, and we're certainly looking forward to a big matchup. Florida State in town. The Noles are here on site and ready to take on JU at 6 o'clock, so it should be a fun Frangie show as we get you ready for that. We will have our scholar athlete right at the top of the show around 4:05, and then JU baseball coach Chris Hayes will join us at 4:20. So lots of fun stuff coming up on the Frangie Show.
And we've seen a lot of times the local schools get the better of these big boys coming to town, whether it's Florida or Florida State.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Florida and JU's record is pretty even, if memory serves. I don't recall what the series is with Florida State, but you're right. I mean, this could easily be a JU win tonight if Florida State, who's obviously incredibly talented, doesn't play well. So JU certainly will not be intimidated, and yes, they've got a lot of big time notches on their belt in program history in terms of knocking off some power schools.
All right, sounds good. First pitch 6 o'clock tonight.
Yep, looking forward to it.
All right, thank you so much. We'll be listening. There he goes. Yeah, I love getting to see, like I mentioned earlier, the college softball. Florida comes to town tomorrow night at UNF, but tonight UNF travels to Florida in Gainesville, and then the college baseball is so good. You'll have, I think it's in April, UNF plays host to Florida, so that'll be another big matchup tonight. I mean, anytime you have a top 25 baseball team in your backyard, go out and see it. It's so much fun, that sport.
I loved hearing the batting practice in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool.
That we talked about it yesterday. Yeah, that metal
I told
bat.
you the noise was nice. You laughed at me yesterday.
Ting.
I also love the sound of cleats on concrete when they like run the student athletes run like to the bathroom or they run around the
It's just
stadium.
baseball sounds, and it's nice.
Yeah.
The ball in the glove. There's just certain noises that you know it's baseball season, and it's beautiful.
That's right. And pitchers and catchers have reported when it comes to Major League Baseball. I know the Trop has undergone a massive renovation, and now we have a local tie to it with Dreamfinders Homes.
Yes, that's super
cool. That's right.
And Patrick Zalupski, and now Ken Babby's the president there, owning the Rays. And so that may be another road trip that he'll need to go on. Road trip. We love them.
Do it.
Yeah, just say baseball to me, and I'm down.
Yeah, just know you're connecting flights out of Atlanta, please.
We would not connect.
Thank you.
We would not
To go to
connect
Tampa.
through Atlanta to
I
go to
know.
Tampa. Don't worry. We
I don't know.
honestly
They have some weird flight paths nowadays.
True, but we wouldn't fly.
I went to
We would John
Miami to go to Chicago one time, and I'm like, I feel like I'm going the wrong way.
Well, if we're driving, I'm driving. I'm not a good passenger. Just saying.
That's perfectly fine. All right, that'll
Yes,
do
that's
it
great.
for us today. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show live from JU is next.